influences relative to burnout. Agency organizational influence that contribute to that. For example, large caseloads. When I left community mental health, I had a caseload of 120 clients, acute, chronic, crisis. I mean, there was no variation. It was, dealing with 3 suicidal clients a week, kind of a chaotic caseload, set up for burnout. Too much to do and not enough resources. So that's an organizational factor that can really contribute to it. Again, the caseloads with high acuity and chronicity, having caseloads that are packed full of really, really unstable clients that demand a lot of attention rather than a variety. Having some that are on the way out, having a couple of hours scheduled in our work day to do other non-clinical type activities, just a variation. Those kind of things can really help reduce the risk. Lack of resources, inadequate supervision, and in the counseling world, social work, psychology, counseling, clinical supervision is so important. It's it's having a supportive mentor there to kind of guide you through those times that you just don't know what to do, or you're struck by a client's story, and what do you do with that? Historically, I think a lot of times helpers, we've thought, I can't let other people see how I'm affected. I shouldn't react this way. I'm a professional. Well, you know what I tell my students? I don't care how long you've been a social worker, you're a human being. And we do not turn into super social workers or super counselors that are void of emotion. We are affected. You cannot help but be, unless you're burnout. That's one of the things that happens, is that we shut down. The restraints and limitations of bureaucracies that we work in, so we're all kind of in a big bureaucracy here, and we know some of the tasks that seem kind of pointless. And if you're in the field as a clinician, the mounds of paperwork that we have to complete in order to get services approved, and it can take hours and 593 signatures before you can get the approval of something. So those kind of things, too much of that can really contribute because it feels meaningless. Inadequate compensation. Teachers and social workers are paid so poorly. Sometimes it's, I can stomach the low pay because I didn't come into the field to get rich, but I can stomach it if I'm in an organization where I feel valued. If I have a supervisor that says, gosh, you did really good work with that client, or you have some expertise that might really help your colleague here. If I'm in an environment that feels supportive and that values me, it can really override some of the risks. So that's part of compassion satisfaction when we have those kind of experiences. Lack of professional support or professional development opportunities. If you are a clinician, I'm sure at some point, and if you're a student, a social worker counseling student, there's going to be a point where you're with a client and you're going to think, oh my gosh, I don't have the skills. I don't know what to do. And so if we're not in an organization that's providing us opportunities to develop and grow our professional skills, that can be a big contributor to burnout too. Safety concerns, depending on our work environments. Healthcare and behavioral health care folks are kind of up there at the top of the list for risks in terms of threats and physical attacks. Lack of recognition and autonomy. Anybody ever been micromanaged before? There's nothing worse. So yes, when you're in a position where you have some autonomy, some freedom to be creative and contribute to decision making, that can really shift the culture and the feel of an organization. as well.